Hello friends, and welcome to this 11th session of the Terraform Basics. So we are going to cover the whole concepts or whole the topics of the Terraform Associate exam. So currently we are discussing on the Terraform variable, and this is the fourth part of the variable. So in these particular sessions we are going to discuss about the implementations variable type as a string, number, and I already discussed about the string and number, but in this particular video we are going to do the hands-on also, and we are going to discuss on the list and map. So this is the fourth part of this Terraform variables. Completely, you can say this is the 11th part of the Terraform series. And if you didn't refer my previous video, please refer those on a systematic order to have a better understanding, because I started discussing on the Terraform topic from the very basic level, and in this particular series I am going to go till advanced level from the basic, so you have the very clear understanding all the points that I already discussed. And you can see when we reach to the 20 or 21 videos, we are going to set up the complete VPC infrastructure in AWS cloud. So this is the very good platform to learn, and I am also very happy and delighted to take the response from you guys that this particular series is very helpful in understanding the terraforms, from because I picked all the topics from the very basics, and my motto is to give you all the informations, all the knowledge regarding the terraforms. And if you feel any difficulties on any of the videos, you can put your comments, and I will try to answer those videos. Okay, so now let's jump into the environment. So we have currently in the AWS environment, we don't have any instance currently running, and this is the input variable related things that you can refer time to time, because the referring the documentations is very important. Similar way in the Kubernetes also, because time to time the both the versions gets updated, some of the functionality gets included. So this is the very good things and very good practice to refer the documentations, because you can't remember all the things like in the Kubernetes. For the any of the specifications for any of the objects, you have to refer each time the Kubernetes documentation. Similar way for the Terraform also you have to refer, because Terraform keep on clubbing the other vendor also in the Terraforms, or supporting the Terraform's functionality. So time to time there is lots of changes as per the version released by the Terraforms. Okay, so regarding the variables, like you can see the type, we can define a variables from where we can use in the Terraform files, and you can define it as a type as a string, type as a map, which is the key value pair, where you define the key, like this is the region specific mapping on this particular US East 1 is the key, and this is the value to pick. Okay, so when you run the for a particular reason, it will pick the appropriate image. Okay, so this is the first thing. And you can see that we can define for any variable the type, which is optional, default, which is also optional, and descriptions, which is also optional. So it will pick the default value in each of the cases. Okay, so for the string, you can define like which type of strings it's string going to take as an input, as the it will be a string, or it will be map, it will be list, or it will be number. So these types of things you can define for the variables. Like for the maps, you can provide the informations like the key value associations, something like the lookup. You know what the lookup, like it's for a particular key, the value is associated with it, and it will bring that particular, you will provide the key, and it will you will provide this particular things, and it will provide the associated value for that particular key. Okay, in the list, it will be in the order of the sequence, okay, starting from the zero. So if whatever you defined, it will go in a particular order. Like the first value, this is the zero one, okay. The index position is zero, and this is the one. If you provide the index value and try to get the value of 2 which not exists, then the Terraform will complain you that we are, whatever you are looking is going out of order because it's not defined. So you will get appropriate error, and we will see in the lab session also that I will try to fetch the value which we not provided, and the Terraform will complain, okay. Similarly in the Boolean also. So in this particular session we are going to focus on the string, number, map, and list, okay. So this is our main agenda, and in the AWS environment we don't have any running instance, okay. So this is the Visual Studio Code. I just rename it to 4, and all the codes is exactly similar in the for as we have in the previous session, okay. This is the variable, and this is the resource creations script. Like we have for fetching the AWS region, and also one thing, the regarding the credentials, I already configured into the AWS CLI, so we don't have to, because that one is the very sensitive informations. And for free of the video I provided that it as a hard coded and show you many times, but before releasing the videos I have to delete, and I deleted those informations because those informations is very sensitive. Okay, so what we are going to do, we are going to remove this default value, and then we will see what things the Terraform will complain. So I am going to remove the default value, so definitely it will going to ask me, and for this I already provided you all the things, all the informations, but here we are going to define the type, okay. The type will be, for time being I am providing the type as number, okay, number. This is the instance type, okay, and it should be a string, okay. So I'm going to, I didn't provided the default value, so when we execute the command terraform plan, it will definitely going to ask me which type, instance type, because here we are going to create the EC2 instance, and here we are going to use using the instance type. So it will refer the instance type here, okay, and it didn't find the default value, so the CLI command will ask you like which instance type, what is your instance type, and in that case I defined the type as number, which is not acceptable because I am providing there the string, and the Terraform will complain because I provided the type as a number. So Terraform will take the instance type value as number, but there we are going to provide as a string, so Terraform will complain. Okay, let's save this. And as we don't have any Terraform binaries downloaded, so I have to run the Terraform init, and I am going to use the bash CLI. So Terraform, first have a look that I currently in the same directory. We have only 2 files, okay. Terraform init. So it will download all the versions that is related with the AWS. So after downloading, we will validate, we will format. This is the good practice to always run the command in this way, like terraform init, terraform validate, terraform format, and then terraform plan before running the apply, okay. So terraform validate. So if there is any syntax error, it will complain that you have to fix it before proceeding to the further command. So the command is success. So I'm going to use the fmt command for format, okay. So you can see that there is the output of one file. So there is some format issue and it's corrected. Format is just like alignment. Some alignment is not in the place and it's corrected it. Okay. So I am running the Terraform plan, and it asking me to provide the instance type because we didn't provided the default. And here we are going to provide the t2.micro, which is not a number. Okay, and it will going to raise an error because There I defined input as a number, not as a string. And I here in the CLI I am providing the as a this validations gets failed. Okay, so here you have the complete informations like invalid value for the input variables. Okay, and it's also saying the which variables have the problem and at which line number. So Terraform will provide all the informations regarding where you have to look into for which line in which file. Okay, so now I am going to change it as a string. Okay, okay, and again I am going to save it and run the Terraform plan again. Again I am going to pass it as a t2.micro. So now Terraform will accept it. Okay, because all the things get matched, whatever we provided as a C in the CLI command and what we defined for that particular value. So you can see that okay, the instance type T2 micro picked. Okay, in the similar way you can set it for the number also. Okay, now coming to the list type. So I defined here the type as a string. Now I am going to define it as a list. So we are implementing the variable type as a list. So what is my main agenda? That suppose that you have T2 micro and T2 medium and T2 large. There is three instance type, and on the basis of the environment, suppose you assume that the micros will be used for the development environment, and this is for the QA environment, and this is for the uh, any of the environment like UAT or staging. Okay, so for that, instead of type as a string, you can define type as a list, which is input as a string. So we defined as it as a default value where you can find this is the list. Okay, in the under the bracket you can provide the content here, what where the T2 micro it's at the index 0 positions, 1 positions and 2 positions. Okay, similarly when you utilize that variables you have to provide the index. If you don't provide the index, it will throw an exceptions. And you, similarly you can see the 0 positions when provide the T2 micro get assigned to the instance type. Okay, so I'm going to copy and paste it here. For the type I'm just replacing this content, and the type you can indent it in a perfect way, like so that it's or otherwise you can run the command fmt and it will align the syntax accordingly. Okay, so this is the thing, and I have to use the variable when we call the instance type, we have to provide this index. Okay, so let me save it, and I am going to use it here. Okay, index type, and here I am going to use it as a suppose 1. Okay, so when we provide 1, it will going to create an instance of type T2 medium. Okay, so T2 medium is the it as at a first positions, and T2 large at the third position. So index will be go as 0, 1 and 2. So here we are providing getting the value for first position. So at the first position, what is T2 medium? So the instance type will be created of T2 medium type. Okay, so let me run it again, Terraform plan, and see which type of instance it's going to create. So you can see that it's going to add one resource here. Okay, so plus sign is for creations. Okay, and the type will be T2 medium. So I provided to the index number 1, and at index number 1 there is a value of T2 micro. Okay, similarly I am going to change it to T2 large, the second positions. Actually, see, this is the third positions, but the index order start from 0, 1, 2. Okay, so let me run it again. Terraform plan, and this time the instance types would be T2 large. Okay, one to add, and if I scroll above, T2 large. Okay, and what happened if I go out of order like 3? So this is the fourth positions which we didn't define it. Okay, we have only 3 positions. Okay, this is the list of the 3 instance type, not the fourth one. So I provided something wrong, and let me see what type of error we receive from the Terraform when we run the plan. So this is the invalid syntax. So it's quite understandable. So this is the beauty of the Terraforms, that we already receive the meaningful informations, like which file have the error, okay, at which line number, and what is the problem with this particular instance, and it's going out of the collections, the out of elements. So we define the 3 elements, and we are asking for the fourth one which not exist. Okay, so this is one thing, and let me show you about the map also. So let me correct it, either from 0 or anything else. Okay, so now I'm moving to the map. So similarly, for the map, you have to mention the type as a map. Okay, it will also have the value of the string, so you can see this works as a key value associations. So this is the key, like I am referring for the development environment, I am referring to set it, the instance type for the QA environment, UAT environment. So we will provide only these value to the from where we are calling the variables, and it will pick the instance type accordingly, like T2 medium, T2 large. Okay, T2 large for the UAT. So in this particular example, you can see that when we call we will assign the value from the variable. At that time we are calling for the dev, so it will pick the value of the dev as a T2 micro. Okay, so this is the map. So where implementations of variable type as a list, sorry, this is as a map, my mistake. So I'm going to copy and paste it here. Let me paste it here. Okay, the type, let me align it properly, or you can simply run the Terraform format to format it with the proper alignment. Okay, and dev, for dev you are using T2 micro, for QA you are using T2 medium, and the UAT environment T2 large, because for the bigger environment you have the bigger instance, and whatever is your requirement, accordingly you can perform it. Okay, so default instance type is 1, that's why it's creating only one instance. Okay, the reason is AP South 1. So you can map the variables in very different way as per your requirement. So you can create a variable for the reason, like AP South 1, which environment, development, and as per the environments, all the logics get changed accordingly, that which particular instance to use, which security groups to use, which type of instance you have to create. So this is just an example to give you a clear picture, and you can make your logic very complex using these variables. Okay, so this is the thing, and I'm going to use it for the any of them, like QA. I'm going to use that for the QA. So you can see here the example, like we have used for the dev. Now we are using for the QA, and here I'm going to the double quotes. Let's remove it, and here I'm going to use for the QA. Let me save this, and this file is also saved. So check it again. that for the instance type you define the type properly, the default value is there. Okay, and the default value I just providing this key, and for that you have, it will pick the T2 medium type of instance. Okay, so I'm going to save it and going to run the Terraform plan again. Okay, so one it's going to add the single resource. Okay, it's set of T2 medium. If you want to create a two resource of the same type, you can just change the variable here. For the variable, you can just change it to the two. So it will assign this value to the instance type here, the count variable, and the count variable will get assigned to the tag also, and accordingly it's changed the name and as add the tag for that particular instance. So you can save it and run it here again. So in this case, the two instance will be created of G2 medium because I'm creating the instance for the QA environment. Okay, so you can see that the instance count I changed for the EC2 instance, and two instance it's adding, and both of T2 medium type. Okay, let me do it for the other instance also, if other environment also, like the count I'm going to change it as a one, so the one instance will be get created, and for the development environment I'm going to change it for the development DUV. Now save it, and I'm going to run the Terraform plan again. So this time one instance will be created of T2 micro, because that we picked the key, we assign the key of development environment. Therefore apply. It will ask me for the confirmations. If you are sure, then you can assign the flag of auto approve, so that it will not ask you for the confirmations. But it is always a good practice to see the plan. Sometimes for a single changes, you will find that your resource is getting destroyed. So for a bigger environment like the QA or staging, this is going to be a various a big issue for you guys. So always see the plan, that what the Terraform will going to. So if you find something is just getting destroyed, just be alert that what changes you did, and you have to Google it that why it's going to destroying for us this particular changes. Sometimes you are changing the instance type, so accordingly you are in the EBS volume get attached with the instance, and you, if you assigning some bigger assign changing the instance type to a bigger instance type, like T2 micro to T2 large. So in that case, the instance will get destroyed and recreated again. So you can see that the apply gets completed. And if I refresh my console for the instance, we will find the one instance is running. So you can see that my instance, the name of the instance is my ec2, and 0 get assigned because here we are using the count. Okay, so if you see it here, okay, the count index, so I taking the first index and count start from the 0. That's why the name of the instance is my ec2 dash 0. Okay, here you can see the tag also. Okay guys, that's it for this video. If you like my video, please subscribe my channel and stay tuned for similar topics. And I'm going to provide the, means you can see that more than 20 topics on the Terraform. Still we have to plan accordingly. So just share this channel's link with your friends, and thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day.